Okay, I'm gonna record a video until I'm home because, like I said in my last video, I don't have internet service on my phone right now for some reason. I don't know. I'll ask my mom when I get home. But I just recorded a video about whether or not the Steam machine will replace Xbox in the console wars, and I briefly talked about the console wars. Briefly, it was a huge chunk of the video, but I didn't go into huge detail. I left out a bunch of stuff. Now I'm thinking, if I were to make a console, what would be a good name for it? What would be a good design? Something I came up with years ago was Redline. Just the console, that's the name of the console, Redline. And it's going to be the name of the company too, so it's going to be Redline. And the launch title, the one that's come packaged with the game, is going to be a game called Redline. And the name of the character in the game is going to be Redline. It's a big joke, basically. But then, after I came up with that idea, someone took the name Redline and used it, so now I can't use it. But now I'm thinking, what would be a good naming scheme for consoles? See, Nintendo, originally, they just had Nintendo, and then it's Super Nintendo, then Nintendo 64. They had their pattern, they had their gimmick of just taking their name and adding something to it. Atari originally had the numbers, 2600, 5200, 7800, but then near the end of their run, they decided to switch up their gimmick and start naming their systems after cats. Which was an interesting switch up. PlayStation, they just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's fairly simple and straightforward. Xbox is fucking all over the place. What the hell? First we had Xbox, then 360, then One. Now we have Series S and Series X. It's like, what? Just go by numbers. 360, 720. What the fuck? I guess Sega isn't much better. We had the Sega Master System, then the Sega Genesis, then the Sega Saturn, and then the Dreamcast. There's no pattern there. What do those things have in what do those words even mean with each other? There was going to be like a Sega Neptune, which was going to be just the Sega Genesis 32X standalone. So they sort of were kind of having a pattern of named after planets, but it, they didn't stick with it. So what the hell's up with that? So if I were to make a console and then make a series of consoles to compete in the console wars, what would be a good theme? The planets is a good one, but technically I can't name my console the Saturn because Sega did it first. So I can't do that. They own the rights to it. But also I would run out of planets eventually, at least in our solar system. I could start naming it after planets in other solar systems, which I would have unlimited options, but they wouldn't be like creative names. Like, they wouldn't be actual names. They'd just be like numbers and letters mostly. So maybe that's not a good idea. Thought about naming them after like fictional birds, like a phoenix. Can you imagine a console named the Phoenix? That would be an awesome name for a console, but how many famous fictional birds are there? I'm trying to think. What's another one? Phoenix. I'll have to do some research on famous fictional birds. But if I can't think of any off the top of my head, Phoenix is the only one that is the real big one that comes to mind. If I name my console after some obscure thing, people are going to be like, what the hell is that? And they might not get it, but if they see Phoenix, they're like, oh, I know what a Phoenix is. That's a cool name. I'm going to buy this console. Unless me naming the console after that obscure bird actually gets that bird more attention because everyone loves the console. So it's a real 50-50. Could name it after the seasons, but then I'd run out after 4. There's only 4 seasons. Could just name it after myself, but nah. No, that's too full of myself. Could name it after mythological creatures in general. Like, first we get the Phoenix, then we could have a Pegasus. That would be a cool console. I wonder if the YouTuber Pegasus would play that console. I would send it to him for free. Be like, here, I sent it to you because of your name. And what would come after Pegasus? The Minotaur? That's a big one. That's a big famous one. Dragon. That's kind of generic. That's like so big and famous that it's generic. Can't just name a console Dragon. Maybe I can name it after a specific type of dragon. Oh, there we go. I figured it out. Name consoles. Nope, that's perfect. Name consoles after different types of dragons. We can have big dragons for the main consoles that are part of the console wars. And then we can have little dragons, like the cockatrice, as portable consoles. I'm a genius. I am indeed a genius. I figured it out. Alright, I'm going to work on this idea. I'll come up with names for consoles. Make a whole series. Maybe we can gather some people together and start making, like, gathering money. Kickstarter, maybe? Or GoFundMe? Patreon? Some kind of fundraising website. I just gotta make sure I don't screw it up like the frickin' OUYA, or whatever, how you pronounce it. The AWA. Yawa. Oh, however you pronounce it. That thing failed. It was a Kickstarter project that didn't go anywhere. It was a fail. It was a freaking fail. I mentioned that in the last video. And there's plenty of videos about it, so just go look it up. That thing was a fail, so I need to take notes from them and see what not to do. Talk about my product in a good light instead of in a bad light. And whatever I do not make a commercial where my freaking game controller gets destroyed. Now, as for, like I said in my last video, I don't like the fact that as a society, we're switching towards completely digital everything. We need physical media, so I would make this a CD console. Like, you can buy a game at a store with a physical CD, but there's also going to be a virtual store along at the same time. That way we can have the best of both worlds. So you can buy games completely digitally or physically. That's the perfect middle ground. That's what the Xbox 360 and the Wii and all those guys did until we started switching to completely digital. I think there was nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. Unless I have to go completely digital because that's what everyone else is doing and my console won't take off No, as long as I still have the option. Like, if it's only physical media, that might turn some people away. But as long as there's the option for either one. Oh, and it should have a built-in game that's already there with the console when you buy it. Even if you don't have a disc or you haven't bought anything off the store, digital store, it just comes with the game already in there. Probably Pong. Or maybe a few built-in games, actually. That's a good idea. Okay, so the name of the company will be Dragon Games. And each console is going to be named after a different type of dragon. This is a good idea. Okay, I need to start coming up with designs for these things. Start coming up with games. Probably going to be Dragon Games. Are the Spyro games exclusive to a certain console like Nintendo? Or can they be played anywhere? Because If we get a Spyro game on a Dragon system, that'd be fire. Okay, I'm gonna look into that. All right, I'm gonna cut this off here, even though I'm not home yet. I figured out I figured it out. Game company, console company called Dragon Games, and each console is going to be named after a different type of dragon. The first console might just be called the Dragon, or it may name it after a specific European dragon species, not an individual. Although I could start naming dragon consoles after individual dragons, because I know some dragons and some legends have names. It could be something I do. Alright, I'm definitely going to look into this. The first console might be whatever the hell the traditional classic dragon is called, with the 4 legs and the 2 wings on the back. I don't remember if that has a specific name. It might just be called Okay, anyway, I said I was going to cut it off here, even though I wasn't home yet, but I think I will keep it going till I'm home. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think the classic dragon, I don't know if it has a name. It might just be called a European dragon, or traditional dragon. So, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll just call the first one Dragon. Yeah, even though it's kind of generic, it'll get the point across. Then after that, we get the Wyvern. That's a big one. Everyone likes Wyverns. 2 legs instead of 4 legs. That's a cool dragon. What are those Asian dragons called? The long, thin ones. I think they're called serpentine dragons. I think that's what they're generally known as because of their body type, but I think they have a specific name in the original culture. I'll have to do more research, but I like this idea. And like I said, the cockatrice will probably be for portable consoles and any other small type of dragon. Alright. This is a good idea. I'm almost home. I could end the video here, but I'm not quite home yet. See if I can fill up with more, stuff. What could I do? I guess I could come up with game ideas. Like, obviously, we're not going to entirely only be dragon-based. Obviously. That would limit our games extremely. But obviously, there's going to be some dragon games. Probably our main mascot will be a dragon of some kind. Sega has Sonic. Mario is Nintendo. Ours is going to be a dragon. How do you make a dragon mascot? A dragon in a suit of armor. Taking the whole trope of a knight in shining armor fighting a big dragon and flipping it on its head. So now the dragon is the one in armor fighting stuff. That's clever. That's a clever inverse of the trope. I like that idea. I may run with that. Ooh. Maybe a Paper Mario style game. Not a complete rip-off, but just taking inspiration. Where you're playing as an origami dragon. And that could be for the cockatrice, the portable console. That's a good idea. Alright, I'll keep brainstorming. See you guys next time. Peace.